Hey everybody, Yankee here. You know, one model of gun that's become quite popular over the last decade since it was introduced is the 2011. More and more manufacturers are making the 2011. Now the 2011 is basically a double stack 1911. It combines the crisp single action trigger of a 1911 with a double stack magazine so that you get more rounds. You know, it was introduced around the 100th anniversary of the 1911, and it was billed as the 1911 for the 21st century, therefore the moniker 2011. Now, double stack 1911s are nothing new. I had a pair ordnance Warthog that was a double stack 1911 long before these ever came out, over a decade before these ever came out. But the way they do them now is kind of a unique take on the gun. Instead of just trying to make a bigger metal magwell, they combined a polymer grip frame with a metal receiver and, a regular slide barrel, etc. to make kind of a Franken gun that was kind of a new addition to the market. And they've become, like I said, kind of popular. Now, there's a couple of bad things about them. One is they're pretty much only offered in 9mm nowadays. They used to be offered in different calibers. You could get 40s, 10mm. Now it's pretty much 9mm from most of the manufacturers. Now there are outliers, like, the Rock Island Armory. They have a double stack 10mm. It's all metal. And it's affordable. But like I said, that's kind of an outlier. If you're looking at the major manufacturers, especially if you want one of the more prestigious manufacturers, you're looking at the polymer metal combo, and you're looking at a high price. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and up just to get a hold of one. Heck, if you want to go with a lower tier manufacturer like Springfield Armory, you're still paying $1,600, $1,700, $1,800, almost $2,000 if you want one done up. So very expensive. And like I said, available pretty much in 9mm now. And since that's true, that makes them not all that unique because there's lots of double stack 9mm guns with that crisp single action trigger. Lots of guns that I think do just as good as the 2011. Now, I'm not saying the 2011s aren't great. They are. I own a couple of them myself. I have a couple staccatos. But here's the thing. There are options that I think are not only better, but cheaper. If you're just wanting a single action only 9mm gun that has that excellent trigger pull, has, good capacity, is relatively easy to carry, there are other options out there. And I'm going to go over today what I think would be the top 5 options to the 2011 that are not only better guns in many ways, in my opinion, but often, in fact, mostly, they're quite a bit cheaper too. All right, we're going to start at number 5 here with a gun a lot of you probably haven't heard of. And it's the EAA MCP35 PIOPS. I believe that's how they say it. This is a modernized take on a high power, a Browning high power design. And it's a nice little gun. If you're looking for a double stack 9mm that also has that single action trigger, this is a great option. It holds 16 rounds total. It is, like I said, 9mm, and it's one of the lighter weight guns in these categories because it only weighs in at like 25 ounces. That's pretty light for these guns. Now, this is a more compact model, but it doesn't sacrifice capacity, like I said. It sacrifices a little. You lose 2 rounds, but you get it in a much more carryable platform. So this EAA is something to look at. I was very impressed with them when I first saw them. Now, they're a Turkish import, so they're nothing I'm going to buy new. But if I saw a used one, I would definitely consider this gun. Because like I said, it is a modernized, high-power design. And it doesn't have some of the old foibles that the old high powers had where you had to make some changes, remove mag safeties and stuff to get the trigger to be really crisp. These are really crisp right out of the box. Got a great trigger out of the box. It's a great platform. Like I said, it's from a maker that I'm not going to buy from because of their country of origin. But the gun itself is very nice. And it's very inexpensive. You're talking, mid 600s for this gun. And up to like 700. Not thousands, hundreds. So you get that double stack 9mm, you get that single action trigger, and you get it at a cheap price. And not only that, it's not some amalgamation of polymer and steel. It's a more uniform steel gun. Like I said, I think it looks better than the 2011s, and I think it's probably a little bit better overall for carry, and like I said, a lot cheaper. So that's number 5 on the list, the EAA MCP 35 PIOPS. All right, at number 4, we have a gun that would be higher on the list if it wasn't for its price tag. We have the Wesson DWX. This is also another double stack 9mm gun that functions like a 1911. It's a single action only trigger with a manual safety. The biggest difference is this gun is just better, period. It doesn't combine polymer and steel. It's an all steel hunk of machinery. It feels top end. When you hold it in your hand and hold any 2011, no matter who makes it, the Wesson feels superior. And in my opinion, looks better. It's a very clean looking gun. It's basically a double stack 1911 with a CZ design element thrown in there. And it really works. It's an excellent gun. It's an excellent functioning gun. The function actually rivals the looks and the build quality, which that's rare in a lot of guns. And this one, even though it's a little on the big side, it weighs 45 ounces, which is kind of heavy, but not insurmountably so if you have a good holster and belt. But it carries 20 rounds of 9mm. That's quite a bunch of ammo there you got. With 20 rounds of 9mm coupled with that single action only trigger, you've got an amazing self-defense firearm there. And it's worth every penny, but it is kind of expensive. In fact, it gets into the lower end of the 2011 price range. It doesn't get up there like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, but depending on where you live, if you want one, you're going to spend $1,600, $1,700, $1,800, maybe $2,000. So even though it is lower end 2011 pricing, it's higher end 2011 manufacturing and build quality and looks. It surpasses them in my opinion. So this would be a great option. In fact, I don't consider this gun an option to a 2011. I consider it a superior option to the 2011. And it's one that I would definitely like to own. I don't own one because it wasn't around when I bought my 2011s, or I'd have it instead of them. But it's number 4 on this list. It is the Wesson DWX, and you can get it in a compact if you want, but you're going to sacrifice some rounds because I do believe the compact's only 10 plus 1 rounds. So if you're going to get it, you might as well, if you can carry the bigger gun, get the full size. All right, next we have a model that's nothing new. It's been around for a long time, but it's still great. It's as great today as it was when it was first made. It's the Sig Sauer P226, and in this case, it's the single action only Legion. This is the single action only version of the SIG. It functions like a 1911. It has that manual safety on it there. This is a great option for someone who wants a double stack single action 9mm gun. Now this one is also not cheap. This one's in the 1200s, pushing the 1300s in price. But once again, all metal gun that I think when you stack it right next to a 2011, it's just superior. It holds 15 plus 1 rounds of 9mm. And like I said, it's a Sig Sauer. You can't go wrong with a Sig Sauer. No matter what some people like to say because Sig doesn't pay to advertise with them. Sig Sauers are awesome, and the P226 is awesome, and the Legion series even adds a little more to it. Unfortunately, it makes it a little more expensive, but it's still a great option to a 2011. If you're wanting a double stack 9mm single action gun, and you want one that is awesome, and like I said, maybe you don't like the polymer aspect of the 2011s, this would be a great option for you. It's been around forever. It's proven, it's reliable, and it's just all around great. It is the SIG P226 single action only, and in this case, it's the Legion model. All right, number 2 on the list, we have a gun that I really don't care for in its own right because I think it is not what it should be. But if you're just looking at double stack 9mm pistols with a single action trigger, this one is a great gun. And it is the Beretta 92 XI single action only. Now, I don't like it because it's a single action only Beretta. That kind of takes away what the Beretta 90 series guns are supposed to be. But if you're just looking at it as, like I said, a double stack 9mm single action only gun, it's awesome. I will say that I believe it's the best looking gun of the bunch because you can't really beat a Beretta 92 when it comes to aesthetics. They're one of the most beautiful guns made, and this one's no exception. And as far as function, they're very reliable. They're very well made, and they'll do anything that those 2011s will do. And they'll do it at about half the price of one of the lower end ones because they're only like $800-900. So a lot cheaper and a lot better looking. And once again, all metal. You can put different grips on it. You're not tied to that polymer grip frame. Just an overall better design, in my opinion, not just aesthetically, but materials-wise. Because I'm not a big fan of the polymer grip frames, if you can't tell by now. They're acceptable over a polymer framed gun, which, would incorporate the entire lower into one polymer piece. I think they're better than that, but I'm not crazy about them at all, really. I prefer an all-metal gun, and the Beretta 92 is one of the most beautiful guns. It's all metal. It's single action only. It's double stacked 9mm. It holds 16 rounds of ammunition, so you can't go wrong. And that's why it's the number 2 alternative to a 2011. When you're looking for a double stacked single action 911 style gun, it's the Beretta 92 XI single action only. All right, at number 1, we kind of have a no-brainer. This gun is something that came from the same place as the 1911 and has been one of the 1911's rivals from way back. It's just as important historically as the 1911 in my opinion, and I think it's a better gun, a better design. It's the high power, and in this case, it's the FN high power. FN offers a very true modern Browning high power design. It's just a really great gun, just like the originals were. In fact, it's a little better. They modernized it. You don't got to do the little tweaks you had to do to the old high powers to make it great. And like I said, though, it's still very true to the original. It's a double stack 9mm single action only trigger with a manual safety. It's an awesome alternative to the 2011. And once again, all metal gun. And as far as looks go, well, it's hard to beat a high power for looks. They are very attractive guns. They're all metal. Now, they do have some more modern flair with some of the FNs, modern finishes, etc. But at their heart, they're just a Browning high power, the Browning design high power. And they're an awesome gun. And I would take one any day over a 2011 if I had to choose. Like I said, all metal against polymer and metal. I've said it already in this video. Just a better gun, a more historic gun, a more proven gun. And like I said, beautiful, functional, just great. And it has options because it's been around so long. I've got a special trigger on mine where actually a special safety where when you disengage the safety, the hammer's kept in the down position. When you disengage it, boom, springs back up. I think I got that from BH Spring Solutions. They gave me that. And it's awesome. I love it. You get to carry hammer down, and when you disengage that safety, that hammer pops back. So when it's in your holster, if you're open carrying, people don't see it and freak out. So awesome option there. And when a gun's been around for a while, you get more options like that. So that's the number 1 alternative to a 2011, in my opinion. The Browning designed high power, this time coming from FN. Because when it comes to Browning's designs, I think the high power was better than the 1911. The only advantage the 1911 had at the time is it was 45 ACP, and people wanted that round for wartime. Nowadays, I don't think the 45 ACP has any advantage over 9mm. Modern 9mm has surpassed it in many ways. So there's no reason for the 45 over the 9mm. So when you just look at it as from design to design, both of them as 9mm, I think the high power is far superior to the 1911, and it's also superior to the 2011, which is why the high power design, 16 rounds of 9mm single action trigger, it is the number 1 alternative to a 2011, and in fact, I think it's better. Now, it isn't that much cheaper, but it is still cheaper. Even cheaper than the lower end 2011s, because it's around the $1,200-1,300 range, much like the Beretta. But you have probably the most proven gun on the list that has all the features you're going to want, plus the history, plus the alternative triggers and hammers and all this other stuff that comes with time. So that is why the high power design, this time from FN, is the number 1 superior alternative to the 2011. All right, there you have my 5 top alternatives to the 2011. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with my list? Let me know in the comment section below, or come to our live chat tonight. We have live chats every night at 6 p.m. except for Wednesday when they're at 7 p.m. and Mondays is members only. So if you want to come to Mondays, go donate $1 a month on Patreon. That's the cheapest way to get in. Hopefully I'll see y'all there. We can discuss this topic more. But like I said, for now, that's my list. I'm anxious to see if you agree with me or disagree with me.